Man, we got a major development in this Nolan Wells tragedy, man. Our girl Nancy Grace, man. They done woke up a piece of Nancy Grace, man. Nancy Grace has now been all over this Nolan Wells tragedy. And at certain points, man, you can see Nancy Grace suggesting that there might be some foul play involved. Maybe it was just an accidental drowning. But she has questions, and she's not going to rest until she gets all the answers. So we got a major developing story. It was brought to you by Nancy Grace on this second autopsy that was done on Nolan Wells' body. You know, the first autopsy that they did, they removed the lungs, removed part of the throat area. And I could understand, them removing the lungs to see if it was an accidental drowning, to see if Nolan Wells drowned. But my thing is, where's the neck in the second autopsy? So this second autopsy that was done revealed something very suspicious. And my thing is, you got witnesses recanting their statements. And if you're going out on an island with your friends to have a good time, and you went together as a group, and if they was your true friends, why didn't they make sure that all personnel was accounted for before they returned? But it seems like you had four white American males and one black African male. And the black African male didn't make it. On 4th of July, they call it an accidental drowning. But there's some suspicions about everything that's going on. And his body was washed up to sea 2 days later where they found him. And nobody was concerned. Now you got people like Officer Tatum coming out with his narratives, trying to say that the four young men that was with Nolan, they had nothing to do with it, trying to protect them. But there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of things wrong with this whole situation. And Nancy Grace has been all over the story ever since she has been woken up. And she's given us great coverage. You see what she did to Officer Tatum, exposed him for his lies, put him in the deep fryer, and had him backpedaling. But a lot of things that people say about Officer Tatum, he doesn't like black folks. With some of his content and suggest that he doesn't care for black folks. Like he cried for Charlie Kirk, but he won't cry for his own son. He's been saying a lot of things about slavery was the best thing that happened to black folks. He has said things about Dr. Martin Luther King, rest in peace, negative things, basically saying that he was a clown, basically saying that Al Sharpton's a clown, basically saying Benjamin Crump's a clown. But Nancy Grace, man, she's not going to rest until she gets the answers she wants. And as a former prosecutor, she done tried over 100 some cases, and she ain't never lost. And with this new developing story that Nancy Grace broke live on Fox News, it says a lot. So, guys, I want y'all to listen to what Nancy Grace says about this second autopsy that was done and what it revealed. And that's why she has suspicions around Nolan Wells' death. But before we get off into that, y'all guys do me a favor, man. I want y'all like, comment, subscribe on the video. And also, a lot of things about that new released audio she has some suspicions about. So let's take a listen to what Nancy Grace had to say on Fox News as she broke the report. Take a listen.
Time stories with Nancy Grace. Nancy, Attorney Ben Crump here has a point. You mean no one saw anything? Where do you see this investigation, where things stand?
I've got a lot of problems with the investigation so far, but remember, we are seeing through a mirror darkly. We don't know all the evidence. There's been one state autopsy, and that has not been released. The family sent the body Nolan Wells for a second independent autopsy, and that autopsy says undetermined. This is what I do know, Griff. I know on the back of his head, the occipital bone back here, there is deep red subcutaneous tissue. It's not anywhere else. It is not pooling of the blood once he died. The blood pools at the lowest point. It's not that because it's only there. I'm curious, does that suggest a blow to the head? There are many accidental possibilities. When you look at the video out there, there are tons of boats that are close together. Did he drink and drown in between one of those boats and nobody noticed? I don't know that. However, that deep reddening on the occipital bone is very disturbing to me. Also, you think, oh, he drowned, but we don't have the lungs. When the second autopsy got the body, the lungs and the throat were missing. Now, I understand, Griff, why they took the lungs to determine if he had drowned, but why was the neck missing? What about the interior of the throat sparked the initial medical examiner's concern? Was there some bruising on the neck? I don't know. So right now, it could go in so many different directions. But let me tell you this. The call that the friends made when they were returning without Nolan, they say he wanted to stay and be with a friend girl he just met. She, Katie, says, no, he left with his friends. I got a problem right there. That's a conflict in the testimony. But when you listen to the call the other friends made, they called Seatow, Seatow, and said, we're sinking. In this newly released sound, you can make out somebody saying, wake the F up. What does that mean? I'm not resting till I find out if that's real. Has it been doctored? And if it is real, who are they talking to?
There's so many questions that you raised, Nancy, and as someone who's investigating these things, you know which questions to ask. I want to take you back, though, because that marking on the back of his head is not insignificant, as you rightfully point out, because also the size of it, right? It's like a 12 by 8. I mean, it's not a small clue in this. Expand on that a bit, if you will.
Yes. That's perfect. Right there is showing exactly where the reddened tissue is, and it's subcutaneous under the skin. Now, as we all know, in an autopsy, the skin is pulled away from the body to look at the tissue underneath the skin. That's where the second medical examiner, doctor, found it. Many people are arguing it was a blow to the back of the head. Many people argue he fell, hit his head on the boat, and went over. Well, if that happened, didn't anybody see him? So it's going to boil down to witness testimony and what that neck truly reveals. Again, why did the first medical examiner keep that part of the body? It was not sent to the second autopsy. That raises my antenna. There's a lot of hate going on around this case. It's very hard to understand. Again, it could be accidental. It may not be. And we can't stop the investigation until we know. This young man was 18. You know how old my twins are? 18. And I would be lying on the front of the courthouse.
Man, that was powerful from Nancy Grace, man. You can tell she kind of got emotional at the end because her twins are 18 and Nolan Wells was 18 when he lost his life. And like she said, that autopsy cannot rule out foul play. And she is right. There's a lot of hate going on around this tragedy. And Officer Tatum, he leads the charge. And you can say what you want to say about Officer Tatum. A lot of people have been in the comments talking about he's a stand-up guy. That's your opinion. But I have my opinion too. And everybody else has their opinion too. Officer Tatum is not for us. He is going out there protecting these white folks. And that's what he is. You go back and listen to some of his stuff and some of his content. Just listen to what he said about black folks. Listen to what he said about Dr. Parker. Listen to what he said about Al Shaw. Listen to what he says to the black people that come to his comment section. Listen how he talks to them in response to them. And you crying for Charlie Kirk, but you won't cry for your own son. So a lot of people have their opinions about Officer Tatum. And I think Nancy Grace formed an opinion about Officer Tatum when she had him on her show, and she put him in a corner and basically exposed him for lying about these autopsies and these polygraph reports. That didn't take place. It's not the real thing unless you take the polygraph test. All them tests are designed to do something different. And the test that Officer Tatum said that Warren and everybody else took, that's not going to give you a true result. And he's talking about they passed. So he is really trying to help these white boys out. It's just the bottom line, man. It's sad. And this is sad all around, man. And everybody hopes that it was an accidental drowning, but it don't lead to what new things and new evidence is coming out. And these witnesses changing their story. Just like the young lady said, no, Nolan did not stay behind. He left with his friends. And that's kind of fishy. I know everybody got their own opinion about this. That's why we're going to stay on top of it. As the news break, we'll bring it to you. But y'all do me a favor, man. Get down in the comments section.
I see everyone in the comment section, #salute. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you will know every time I drop a hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And that will wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.